Do you have a thing?
I do have a thing.
You have a thing?
Oh, no.
Oh, are you going to do your intro?
I'm stuck in the chair already, yeah. Well, I got to.
Oh, you have to.
It's the only part I know.
Oh, yeah. It looks so clean and crisp when you watch the recorded thing.
Right, yeah.
Okay. I feel
Be
small.
prepared
right
for
now.
disappointment.
I feel very small.
There's a thing. Doing the thing. All right. All right. Howdy.
Howdy.
Oh, you did it. Good job. Welcome to Conversations
Howdy.
with Coyotes. My name is Bravado, and I am a coyote, and this is a conversation.
Yeah.
For real this time. I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this, and I thought a lot about just trying to figure something out where I just talked at you for like half an hour or whatever, and then I realized that that was really hard, and I didn't want to. So instead I talked to Pat.
Hi.
Pat Hyena, everyone.
Hi.
Former con chair.
Who? Very former.
Who?
Just some guy.
Notable hyena.
Ish.
Ish. No, very notable.
Ish. Ish.
And he agreed very kindly to act as an interviewer, question asker type of person.
Right.
So we could I did, but you're not supposed to tell him that.
Thanks.
And then he agreed that we would have an actual conversation with an actual coyote. So with that in mind, I will hand it over to Mr. Pat Hyena.
Yeah. This is your 30th?
It is. This is
the
number
30th.
30. Yeah.
30 of these.
Yeah. So I'll catch y'all later. Bye.
Okay, great work, everyone. Have you seen Conversations with Coyotes? Some of you have? Who hasn't?
I haven't.
You're going to start on episode 30. Welcome.
Because
So
you're in it.
you're in it. Especially if you ran onto the camera over here. So this is for free content, right? You just wanted a really easy, you're 30, right?
Yeah. When I thought of
Come on.
things that I could do for an easy 30th YouTube thing,
You thought, I'll do it
this
live.
is what came to mind.
Screw it.
is
We'll do it live.
Doing it in front of a bunch of people
Sure.
and not knowing what I'm going to say.
Okay, so my first question is, why do you call it Conversations with Coyotes when no one else is there? Who are you talking to? Who's talking back to you?
It's a metaphor for having a conversation with the world. I think the real question should be, why do I call it Conversations with Coyotes when there's only one of me?
Right.
Right.
Do you have an answer for that? Or?
No, I don't.
Okay, why do you call it Conversations with Coyotes when there's only one of you?
Because of alliteration. Actually-
No?
What?
No, alliteration's the first letter. It doesn't matter what the last letter, right?
Correct.
Oh, yeah. I guess backwards alliteration.
Yeah, that's the new big thing that's going to be popular in 2019 is alliteration when you read it backwards.
Backwards alliteration.
No, the reason that I called it that was originally it was called Questions for Coyotes,
Oh, yeah.
which is still confusing because there's only one of me. But then I would solicit people for questions and then I would answer them. And then there was one episode where I thought I would just talk at the camera for a while and not take questions, and I changed it to conversations because it kept some consistency. And then I just started doing that all the time, and it didn't change. So I think if I was going to start it again now doing the same thing, I might call it something else. But it's too late, and here we are.
What would you call it?
It would depend exactly on what I was going to do, because I haven't really thought of a name that would fit its current format, but I thought about the idea of being able to talk to people sort of removed from who they are as a fursuiter or something like that. And if it was something like that, I'd probably call it like out of character, which I think would be interesting.
That's better.
Yeah, don't steal.
No, it's better, I think.
It's better.
So
it's a
someone
great
wants to start
idea.
one out there. That's
Yeah.
a good name.
Yeah, but it's not called that. It's called this.
It's called This.
Yeah.
So that's a new name too. This.
Yeah, exactly.
So you started with a Q&A sort of thing.
I did.
How did you get off of doing that, and why did you start with doing that?
I started with doing that because it meant that I could crowdsource my content. And it forced me to sort of try to improvise good in-character answers to questions that people might come up with. And that was sort of my whole point in doing a video in the first place, was giving myself an opportunity to perform as a coyote and sort of making him a little more real and not just this sort of two-dimensional thing that you only see on Twitter in still images and such. And the only other thought I had with that was like interacting with people on a regular basis, which is difficult to do when you don't make it to a lot of conventions. So video it was, and I thought about, you know, what can I do that's relatively easy and low effort, at least to start out, and that's how I ended up just saying, hey, send me questions and I'll try to answer them. And then I tried to keep up with that for a little while, and it went well. But then, you know, stuff happens where you have interruptions in your schedule, and I realized that it maybe wasn't something I wanted to do every week, because I think that assumes a lot about the people watching, that they're just going to continuously supply you with questions if you're not giving them anything else. And so I had a thought about something else that I felt like talking about, and I just talked about that one week, and then went back to questions, and then I think I had another thing, and then it sort of, I realized that I had a lot of thoughts about things that I wanted to say, and so I started saying those instead.
Coyotes had opinions.
Yeah, weird how that happened.
Have you ever met a coyote with opinions?
Yeah, no, it's relatively unheard of, isn't it?
Ish?
Yeah. We're usually, coyotes tend to be very mellow, docile creatures.
How many coyotes are here?
In the
It's
room?
one? I think it's one. That kind of tells you a lot about how coyotes feel about each other.
Oh, I have a run-in theory that coyotes always want more people to be coyotes, but they don't want to be near those people.
Is that how you feel?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's competitive, right?
Is it?
I think so.
Competitive coyote-ing?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Why triangles? What's the obsession with triangles? Like, it's
Triangles.
just ears. It's fine.
You can't just say they're just
They're
ears.
just ears.
No,
Jeez.
that's like saying they're just paws.
Oh, that's personal.
It's the ear
Yeah,
snout
exactly.
trinity.
Does ear snout trinity?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
They are just paws. The main thing is beans.
Beans. Yeah, those are good. Are you ever going to go back to the Q&A sort of format, or are you going to start taking the hybrid of that, or are you
Well,
going
I
to
still-
opinions forever?
I intersperse it every so often as kind of a little break. And so, yeah, I think I'll still do it. I just don't want people to get tired of it, so I don't want to overdo it.
Do you get enough feedback, do you think? Like, do you have an idea what people want, what they like to hear, what they, like, I don't know how that works on YouTube, really. It doesn't.
It doesn't, I think, when you're not at a certain size, because right now a lot of it is, and I really appreciate positive feedback. It's very nice because people are like, oh, I like this video and this was really helpful. And I do get the occasional sort of like comment that digs deeper into it. But it's not a ton of constructive criticism in that format, which is okay, because I do a lot of talking with people who make videos and stuff outside of YouTube, so it's more like, you know, direct messaging and that sort of thing. And that can be really helpful for feedback. And then when I have ideas for stuff too, oftentimes I have people that I'll bounce them off of, just to make sure that I'm not the only one who's sort of in this boat, and that helps too, because it's a good sanity check. Because I don't want to just like go off half-cocked on some crazy topic and then realize that that's my own, that those are my own brain problems talking.
They are.
I mean, they are, but it works when it's relatable.
Yeah.
And if it's not relatable, then it's a little more of a yikes situation.
Is that the name of one of your videos now? A yikes situation?
Not yet, but it could be.
Jeez.
Maybe that's the name of this one.
So you've worked heavily with Vine historically,
Yeah, I guess.
and Twitter primarily.
Yeah, Twitter.
YouTube's a
obsessively.
whole different beast, right?
Oh, it
That's
sure is.
How challenging has been to figure out what to do with YouTube, and how do you build that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. If I knew, then it would be dramatically different than it currently is, probably. No, I think there are a lot of people doing stuff on YouTube, but the things that they're doing are not necessarily the things that I want to be doing, so it's not really like there's someone I can emulate easily. And so the people that I do look to as examples are people who put a lot more effort into sort of analyzing the stuff that they're saying, and I think that's really cool. And so then it becomes kind of keeping that energy every time and continuing to be thoughtful and useful, and it's really challenging to be that. And I don't say that in a way that means that I don't want to do it. I just mean like I want to keep doing stuff that's good and not just like throw stuff out there and not think about it.
Yeah. You almost got a new person. And they looked at you.
Yeah.
They left.
Yeah. Well, they were intimidated.
Yeah. So you think that? You think that's it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. You know, Majora Strawberry was a coyote for a while.
Really?
Yeah, he started out as a coyote. Yeah, and then everyone's like, "You're a fox," and he just fought it. Now he's a fox. That's true. That's true story.
That's so sad.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So I don't know. Okay, so you're doing YouTube. You have these videos run about 3 minutes each, right?
Closer to like 5 to 7 minutes.
So I watched for about 3 minutes.
Okay.
Right?
All right. So as far as you're concerned, yes, 3 minutes.
Right. So they go, but that is. I've seen you talk for a lot longer than that. How do you How long do you record for? How many takes do you normally have to do? And how do you stop talking to get yourself concise enough to make a package of like 7 minutes on a big thought?
So it's changed quite a bit recently, because when I started, what I was doing was I had this sort of jumble of ideas in my head that I wanted to just get out there, and it would be sort of a different level of preparation for each one. And as that started, I was, I'd just go until it felt good, and that would often involve a lot of takes because I was trying to figure out what I was going to say at the same time as I was recording. And it turns out when you do that, it's super inefficient. It's a terrible way to do this. It might not be bad if you weren't in a suit, but when you're in the suit, like, you get really fatigued really quickly. And so I've had times, and I'm very ashamed of this, but it's taken, upwards of 2 hours to get stuff that I am happy with for a video that ends up being 6 or 7 minutes long. And so I'm distracted by the person crawling away down the aisle.
No,
I don't want. It's not. I don't have an issue with it.
No,
I just want to point out, like, if it sounds like I'm distracted, it's because I am. So anyway, what were you talking about?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know this now. I'm not sure what this
it's
is.
coming back.
It's good.
2 hours.
Yeah. So more recently, what I realized is what would happen in those situations is, A, it would take me way too long to record, and I'd be all fatigued and kind of rushed through by the end. And I'd realize that I forgot a thing that I wanted to talk about in the first place when I was editing it all together. And so what I realized I needed to do is start writing stuff down. And I started just writing out scripts, because it allows me to spend, a couple minutes or half an hour a night in the week leading up to recording to assemble this stuff and get it into a concise amount of thoughts. And then I can just sort of read through it and get it all on film quite a bit more quickly. And so the last couple of videos I've done, one of them was a bit of an outlier because I think I wrote the sections too long, and that is a learning experience. But the last couple took me more like 20 to 30 minutes to record, because it's just sitting there, doing a couple takes and being done, and that's a way easier, way more efficient way to do it. And I could have the satisfaction of knowing that I covered all the stuff that I wanted to cover as well. And as far as the actual finished length, it's just sort of getting to a point where it feels good. I'm not shooting for any particular minimum length.
Do you have a maximum length? Is there a point where you're like, I can't even watch this myself?
No, because usually I got bored writing it before it got too long.
That's fair.
Yeah. It's a nice, convenient system of checks and balances.
So you do everything in, a fursuit, right? This is, character, sorry. But is it harder to express? Is it harder to show what you're trying to say and convey when you have, basically movements your only device for expression?
Yeah, it definitely is. And I wish that I could do more with facial expressions, because there's a lot that you miss when your face is static. And I try to bring some of that back in with the occasional captions. And I don't necessarily mean that that's a super successful way to do it, but at least it helps convey a little more of the emotion around it. But I haven't really figured out my way past that issue yet. It's not that I'm not aware of it, I just don't know what I want to do about it.
I've got one more, and then we'll open up to audience questions. But speaking of audio, how How do you do the audio to where it's not muffled and where you can still speak and it sounds natural? Are you doing the audio after the fact? You're recording it live somehow?
No, I bore the microphone.
You bore the microphone.
It's great. No, I have a lapel mic that it lives inside of my muzzle, and
none of this sounds good.
No, it doesn't sound good. Well, it does sound good. No, so that's the solution I ultimately landed on, and that means that it's right by my actual mouth and gets actual audio, and then I just do a bunch of EQ stuff when I'm doing the editing, and that ends up being good enough. I mean, it's clear and people can understand it, and that's what really matters. Because I tried a couple different methods of like having a boom mic or whatever, and it never picked up my voice enough over the room noise. And I tried a bunch of different systems, and that really ended up being the most straightforward instead of having a separate device recording audio and then having to like sync everything up. So yeah, this was the best solution, at least for right now.
Didn't the boom mic get in the shot one time?
I think it might have.
I think I remember that.
It may have.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's pretty important to let that happen every so often.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Show people like.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. We're not good at this.
Exactly.
Lord,
just in case they think that I am, I want them to know that I don't think that I am.
Do you have any questions that people want to ask for, I don't know, just like starting a thing, or what you want to say, or why a coyote, or anything like that? Yes.
So I'm a rancher and I lost an entire herd of sheep to coyotes. Do y'all have like some sort of union where I can file a complaint?
Well, I'm a city coyote, so I don't have direct contact with them. But I mean, there is some sort of coyote commune that I'm not allowed to talk about. Beyond that, I do apologize on their behalf, though.
Your complaint has been noted.
Yeah.
Was it delicious though? I mean, were they tasty?
Yeah. I wouldn't know that.
How would you
Might
know?
be their fault. I mean, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
you don't want to be eaten. Don't be
fair.
delicious.
Don't get
Right. Jeez. Yeah.
What editing program do you use for YouTube?
I currently use Final Cut, but I should honestly transition over to Premiere because I've been using it more for other projects and for work, and the more I use it, the more I like it. So at some point, I'll probably make that leap, but everything I have is in Final Cut right now, and it's just pretty quick and easy to use.
Any questions from you guys? Is this immersive?
What is immersive?
Immersive, you know, zippers, and you can access things. And
I do it.
have you checked yourself for zippers?
Wait, where?
Oh,
What
okay.
zipper?
No, never mind. Sit down.
No,
Jeez. So innocent.
what zippers?
No, don't. Shh. You had a question.
Sometimes I like to eat crowns.
Cool.
Do you have a favorite crown?
You brought this one, right? This is yours.
We don't know who he is.
Yeah.
So sorry.
No, I don't really have any strong feelings on crayons.
Oh,
Sorry. I mean, crayons are nice, so I'm glad you enjoy them.
we have a lot in common.
Yeah. You and crayons or us?
I'm not sure.
Okay, that's fair. Me neither.
Jeez. What kind of crayons? No, I'm kind of curious. Okay, yeah, Scott.
Well, obviously Crayola.
Sorry.
That's called
Yeah,
Belgian.
Bob,
Yeah.
you used to have some other characters on your earlier videos. What happened to them?
I ate them.
Amazing.
No, they're still around. I've been doing a lot of Coyote stuff, but there is other character stuff that I'd like to continue doing as it makes sense. So they're not gone. They're just hanging out, not on screen. Yeah.
You didn't bore them, did you?
I didn't. No. I've got plenty of other people to bore. I don't need to bore my own characters.
I didn't need to, but
Yeah. I mean, if
when you
it
run out
comes-
of crayons, you know.
If it comes to that, but yeah.
Jeez. You have other you've worked with other characters. I do that.
Yeah,
So it's
you're
hard.
rocking.
The chairs are bouncy. I like
Yeah.
the chairs bouncy. Jeez.
Sure.
Sure. But you've worked with other characters, right? You've worked with the raccoon. You worked with the donkey.
Yeah. We've done a little bit of collaborating. Yep. And there'll be more in the future, I'm sure. I don't have anything solid, but it'll happen.
Do you think you ever want to do collaborations for the channel?
I don't not. I mean, I've done some other stuff with people who have helped out, but they're not super visible. It's more just working with friends on production stuff. There are a couple parts of this. First of all, I think collaborations sound really good in theory, and I like the idea, and I'm not opposed to it, but I think it's really difficult to achieve in practice, both in terms of scheduling and in terms of coming up with ideas, and just from a practical standpoint. Because especially if y'all aren't in the same geographic area, it becomes really difficult to collaborate, because it's a quality issue. Like, if you are both supposed to be filming something, you know, you want the film, the final product to look consistent throughout, and if it's filmed with 2 different cameras by 2 different people and you know, graded differently, then it can become really challenging to make it feel cohesive. And that's not to say I don't want to try, it's a challenge. And the other thing that I struggle with is I always want to do stuff by myself. So I guess I'm a proverbial lone wolf coyote. But yeah, I put a lot of pressure on myself to be able to kind of own the process through and through. And so it can be difficult to like hand off the reins to certain parts and lose pieces of that control.
That's a lot. Do you have...
Maybe I should have brought a couch.
I mean, a couch?
Yeah.
Like a Cassie couch? Or what
No,
do you
like a therapy couch.
Therapy couch. Very different couch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like that.
Yeah, I know you would.
Yeah, I like therapy couches. I wanted to ask, do you have, I don't know if you have favorite YouTubers that you kind of like watch and think about, like, this is someone that I like the way you do things, I kind of want to emulate that.
Yeah, there are a couple that I think do really great work, and I'm not sure exactly how I'd emulate it, but I respect what they're able to do. ContraPoints is this trans YouTuber that covers these really, really serious issues, but does it in this really creative and thorough way, and so her stuff is really good. I've recently been obsessed with this sneaker YouTuber named Brad Hall, who, I mean, he's effectively created this whole persona that he uses to talk about shoes, but it's so low-key and so deadpan that I'm jealous at how like deceivingly or deceptively simple the whole thing is. It's crazy good. So those are 2 that I like a lot. There are a lot of channels that I watch that I enjoy the humor or enjoy just the production quality, but those are the sorts of things that I really look for in good video content.
Any questions from the audience? Yeah, 2. Yeah.
I'm sorry if I came a bit late. I was just expecting this to be the Coyote panel where all the Coyote fursuiters would congregate.
Yeah, they didn't, and as we discussed, it's because none of them want to hang out with each other.
Well, you can hang out with me. I'm a coyote.
All right. Well, you'll notice that we've got a coyote up front, and we've got a coyote kind of in the middle over by the windows, and a coyote in the back, and that's about the preferred radius.
That kind of covers it.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe your channel could just be coyotes beating each other.
As a bonus, we have formed a triangle.
That's true. It is a triangle.
Yeah.
I think you had a question in the other aisle over here, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Motivation. How do you stay motivated?
Fear of becoming irrelevant.
Not kidding.
No, I'm not. Not at all. No,
You're already irrelevant.
What's that? Oh, well, that takes a lot of the weight off. I can just leave.
Oh, we all start irrelevant, right?
Yeah,
That's,
yeah. It's a circle of life.
Yeah.
No, I stay motivated because I guess I'm naturally creative, as cliche as that sounds. But I like making stuff and I like sharing it. And if I didn't make stuff, I'd just be kind of bored all the time. So the sharing is a nice mechanism to have because when you make something, it's natural to want to like tell people that you made it. And sometimes it influences what I make, and sometimes I make something I'm just like, I'm really happy that I can put this out somewhere and have people see it.
You ever had any really rough feedback? Like something that kept you up at night?
The worst feedback is the time that you can't do anything about. Like, I made a video of quite a while ago, and one piece of feedback that resonates with me is like, this would be better if your mouth were moving. It was really distracting that it didn't. And it's like, well, I can't help you. I'm sorry.
Why?
Yeah. So it's that sort of thing. Like when I think when it's feedback that's left with good intentions, that always helps. But sometimes it's valid and you can fix it, and sometimes it's stuff that is either just mean or nothing you can do anything about, and it is what it is. But no, I'm lucky enough to not have had a whole lot of negative experiences with feedback.
So you've done 30 of these. Which one's your favorite, and why is it your favorite?
This one, because I'm getting to share it with all of you.
No, but really.
Sucking up will do everything.
I don't remember any of the other ones, honestly. No, let me think about that for a second, because there are a couple topics that really meant a lot to me that I enjoyed, and I just don't remember offhand quite what they were. Like, I was really happy with some of the convention ones that I did. Yeah, I was really, I was pleased to be able to do some of the convention stuff because it felt like
Go take care of your friend.
Good luck with him. Thank you. Yeah, and then like more recently, the social media one, and feeling the need to like do stuff just because everybody else is doing stuff. I mean, as we go on, usually it's the more recent ones that I'm the happiest with from a quality standpoint. But there aren't really any. From a messaging standpoint, I don't think there are any that I dislike. Because I mean, they're not that old. I haven't just changed that much in the last year.
Yeah, so you have one. I think the most personal one you have was the one where you said like, if you don't create content, you feel like you just disappear off the face of the earth, and that's kind of a scary feeling.
Yeah. Well, that was the last one I did, and
yeah.
then I took a break.
And you took a break afterwards.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you fell off the face of the earth and nobody cares anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, not to. My issue with social media and whatnot in general has always been if you talk, you can be rewarded for talking, but no one rewards you for listening. Right?
Yeah.
There's no points for listening.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. That's tricky. I like when you do the ones that are very personal as a creator. So I think that's the trickiest. Is a lot of creators feel like they have output, they put the output out, it doesn't get the response they want, and they feel awful. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, like, you'll spend time on something and put your whole heart into it and be disappointed with the response. And what compounds that is when you do something that you put so little effort into and it goes crazy. And there's just no predicting it. And if you try to figure out like why that happens, you're gonna drive yourself crazy.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that you do not do any silly stuff like the drink challenges or the food challenges or anything like that those stupid YouTubers do.
Those are
dumb.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you don't do it. You are more open and realistic.
You don't want to see a coyote eat a Tide Pod?
No. No, that's stupid.
No, well, we saw a donkey drink Tide, so that was different.
Oh.
Yeah, that happened. But that wasn't me. I had nothing to do with that. Innocent.
How do you connect with the teens then?
Yeah. That's what you're supposed to help me with, York.
Connecting with teens.
Connecting with teens. The teens and tweens of tomorrow. No, that's a good point though. The challenge and meme videos are like, it's disappointing. It's not that different from the silly Twitter memes, like the one that was going around recently about like where are you from, and it's stuff that like it's easy content, right? And if you just need to put content out, then that's a great solution. But I don't feel good making that sort of stuff. And sometimes, like when it's a meme on Twitter, I'll have a thing that I think is a funny way to spin it. And I'm not saying like I'm immune from participating in that, but the YouTube meme culture especially is kind of exhausting to me. And so I'll typically skip those videos, and I don't want to make videos that I myself wouldn't be interested in seeing.
I understand why they do it though. Like you're looking for content constantly. That's a good formula for
right.
for making it.
Yeah, and you know, if you if you're younger especially, like that kind of fits with your persona as well. And I think at a certain point, it just becomes a little bit disingenuous to be like, look at me, I'm acting like a young person, I'm hip and cool, and I'm not that, and I'm not gonna pretend to be that.
Are you very old?
Yes.
Now we know.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you have any questions? Yeah.
Sure, I'll
Dave.
ask. Because I think that all content creators are looking to find ways to improve, things to add to their channel, things that they're looking forward to, you know. And I'm sure you're thinking of that too. What things do you have for the future? What's your vision? What else do you want to add to the videos that you have?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's definitely something that I'm thinking about a lot. And I think part of the challenge when it comes to making content is you want to find stuff that you can sort of easily extend versus being just one-off things. And so there's always that, because that means you have a well that you can kind of keep going back to and iterating on. So I've got that in mind, and I've sort of got that situation now where I can come up with stuff and talk about it. But I want to also still make stuff that's interesting and entertaining. I don't want it to just be me talking at you for 5 or 10 minutes or whatever every week. So it's trying to figure out ways to sprinkle in other varieties of content, preferably something more comedic. And I'm still trying to figure that out, because it's a lot harder to come up with those ideas than it is to be like, well, here's a topic that it's usually influenced by something that just happened that I just want to talk about. So there's that. I've got a couple things that I'm kicking around, and I'm hesitant to get too detailed about them because I hate setting expectations, and then people are like, I thought you were going to do this, and I'll be like, well, it turns out it didn't work. So there is stuff that I have in mind that hopefully you guys will see soon. But yeah.
My favorite is the subtitles. That's your best comedic work, I think, is subtitles. I don't know if you know about subtitles, they just appear on the video.
Oh.
It's like your editor.
Yeah, I didn't, no. That's actually something I've been thinking about too, because some of the feedback I got was the subtitles at the bottom were sometimes covered by the captions. And so I'm trying to figure out like ways to integrate those that doesn't feel completely out of place. Because I really like them too, and I want to make sure that people can see them easily. But yeah, that felt really important to me. I think that was partially inspired by, do you remember like the early Colbert Report show?
That's Colbert.
Yeah. So I don't think he stopped doing it, but early on is sort of when I used to watch it the most. And he did that segment called The Word, and he'd talk about whatever the word was, and it would just be a thematic thing that he'd talk about for like 5 minutes. But as he was talking, the captions would sort of like respond and, you know, go along with what he was saying, or they provide a counterpoint. And it was always super entertaining, and I really enjoyed that segment probably more than anything else that he did at the time. And I guess it just sort of stuck with me because I naturally just want to include that stuff. But I think it's also an example to, or an opportunity to, you know, inject a little more writing into the experience.
Questions? Yes.
I've actually got a smaller YouTube channel myself, but it's a different subject, much like game guides. And I guess it's really a question. I should say what you're saying is really relatable, especially with the video views, and you go crazy if you monitor them too much.
Yeah, absolutely.
It feels like sometimes I'll work really hard to put it up, it gets 5 views, and then the next video gets 50,000. It's like,
yeah. There's just nothing. I mean, there's stuff you can do to try to lean into that, but it doesn't always work the way you expect it to. And the worst thing you can do is then just get sort of, you know, petulant about it when it doesn't do what you wanted it to be.
Sorry, trying to grow without getting up. That was
really good.
good job.
Sorry. No, it's the first super. Oh, sorry. That's the preview of stickers. There's stickers coming.
But yeah, I definitely know that feeling, and it's a tough one to get over. But you know, it's not really anybody's fault that, you know, a thing you worked on wasn't something people necessarily responded to. And a lot of it's just a luck issue. I think a lot of it's just some people happen to see certain things, and there are people who, you know, have a very loud ability to sort of boost stuff, and sometimes they miss it. And if you don't get seen by the right people kind of right away, then stuff sort of slips off into the ether.
The biggest anger I've always seen with like content creators is when you think you've done something really fun and really cool and no one cares, and you're just like, I don't understand what people want or like. That's so alienating.
Yeah. That's definitely a thing that I go through somewhat, not as regularly as I used to, but I think we all have that feeling. And it's not just with content creators, it's any time that you have an opinion that's sort of contrary to what the fandom is thinking about, and it makes you wonder, like, am I as close to these people as I thought I was? And so, you know, making content that you feel is relatable, that people don't respond to, is one example, but sometimes it's just like feeling like you're the only one with sort of a dissenting opinion compared to what everyone else is talking about.
Do you want to add to that? Or?
Yeah. Also, it just feels like YouTube algorithm just bury your videos sometimes.
Yeah, I have no idea how the YouTube algorithm works, and at this point, I just have no faith in anything that they're doing, and I just hope people watch the videos at some point.
Maybe we just spend the whole rest of this panel showing people all the videos forever.
Oh, great! Yeah.
Let's get more news.
Yeah, sounds great.
Sky.
Who are your biggest influences when it comes to YouTube videos?
I have a couple. I mentioned ContraPoints and the Brad Hall dude earlier, so they're big. I don't know that I would have jumped back into it without Red Means Recording, which I really enjoy because he has a really great presentational style. And so I really like the way he sort of interacts with his viewers and the sort of persona that he has put together. So that's really good. I think it's just like knowing a couple people who work with YouTube and work with video that helps me sort of have people that I can talk to get feedback and get opinions and keep getting better, both from a content standpoint, but also it's really important to me to be able to improve technically and make videos that are of a better quality in terms of the actual, you know, video and audio quality themselves, and not just content-wise.
Yeah. How do you like to engage with your audience, like Facebook or just community posts?
I'll typically engage on YouTube, obviously, and then Twitter is the other big one for me.
How do you engage? Like, do you feel the need to? Someone asked me this once. If you're doing YouTube, do you feel the need to reply to every comment?
It's probably not bad practice, but I don't do it. I think if they ask a question or start to make a point that's really worth expanding on, then definitely. But I don't want to get myself into the trap of having to respond to everybody, because it becomes too easy to just sort of copy and paste responses at that point, and I want my responses to be genuine. I think if my priority was bigger on, curating a community and doing all that stuff that you need to do to like really push your YouTube channel, I'd probably feel differently, but I don't want to dedicate all of my time to that. Like, I want to make content that people like, and I want to engage with them when they have things to say about it, but I don't want to feel like I'm just advertising all the time.
Then you'd be an actual conversation.
Right. Yeah.
All right, go back to that. Not
Yeah.
an actual conversation. We had conversations with Coyotes.
Right. It's all right. So I'm gonna workshop the name, I guess, is the takeaway from this panel.
Jeez. Any more questions here from the audience? Okay. Do you have?
Oh, there's one.
Oh, there's one.
It's slightly off topic.
Yeah.
If you could be any type of noodle, what would you be and why?
What type of noodle?
Yeah.
Spaghetti.
Why?
Why?
Why not?
That's not how you answer.
Because it's a good shape.
But it needs meat.
Oh, well that is also bad.
Yeah.
What?
Good.
You passed the noodle
Spaghetti
test.
is a good shape because it's got the length that fettuccine has, but it's not flat like fettuccine.
Right. Like
Because-
non-committal.
Well, flat is a bad shape for a noodle because it just flicks the sauce everywhere.
I think lasagna's gonna add you later.
Well, lasagna's not in the same class really because you're eating it differently. You're not trying to like wind lasagna around a fork and then have the end flick off and then get Alfredo all over you.
What about rice? Rice isn't bad.
Rice is not a noodle.
There are rice noodles.
I mean,
Spaghetti's pasta, not a noodle.
I do
Would you
like
ever
rice
try-
even more, but I didn't realize rice was an option, I guess.
Would you try gluten-free noodles at any point in your life?
Yeah, I don't really have any strong feelings about it one way or the other. So I
There
mean,
gotta
if
be
I,
strong flavors.
I don't know. It depends on what's on it, honestly. I'm more concerned about what the noodles are in than the noodles themselves.
Or are you gonna do a video on noodles now? With your not strong opinions. I don't think you can. You have strong opinions, right? You have to-
Spaghetti and Crayola.
It'd be a
You're at
choice.
8 grams. Like that's gonna be your new.
Yeah, I can't wait for this controversy to pop up on
Okay,
Twitter.
Yeah.
we're talking about noodles. Would you say Italian or Thai style noodles? Which one do you like more?
I don't really have a lot of experience with Thai style noodles because usually if it's Thai, I'll have rice with it. So my only extensive experience is with Italian types of noodles.
Are there any non-noodle questions from non-noodle related questions?
Let's move on to gnocchi.
Desserts.
Is gnocchi a noodle?
No.
Okay.
Donuts
Yeah,
or kolaches?
Donuts or kolaches?
I don't know the difference.
Really?
No, help me.
I'm supposed to help you with this?
Yeah, you started it.
I didn't start anything. We're off the noodle topic.
We're off noodle topic.
Trains.
Don't ask. Okay.
Do you like trains?
Trains are pretty good, yeah.
Are we just gonna keep this going?
We went right back to the Q&A. We're right back at episode 1 with Q&A.
Nice.
Do you like trains?
Nice.
What kind of noodles?
Full circle.
Full circle.
I'm irrelevant again.
What's your
And we're
people's-
back to Q&A.
Yeah, you're irrelevant, and we're going back to here. It's good. It's good. Now you need a character.
Oh. Well, it's now that you mention it.
Yeah. Yeah?
No.
Oh.
So you said you're a city coyote, so what's the big difference between a city coyote and a country coyote?
Well, in the city, they bring the food to you, and it's really handy. Yeah. Yeah. I'm always confused by, like, I see those old cartoons and the coyotes chasing the roadrunner, and, like, we have apps. We can just, like, order chicken, and they'll show up at the door.
You
It's
don't
really...
use Acme, do you?
No. Sometimes it works about as well. But that's more that it just takes an hour to get there versus it blows up in your face.
What are your opinions on foxes?
They're okay.
Oh, yeah.
Zeal's good.
That's good.
I agree.
Zeal's a good fox.
It's a good fox.
The foxes that are here are great. How's that?
There you go. Hey,
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
They got their own news network.
Yeah.
Oh,
They could do better.
Any questions for coyotes? Yes.
Or coyote.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What's your opinion on dragon water slides?
Dragon water slides? I don't. What are those words?
What's a dragon water slide?
Yeah.
I just made it up.
That's a euphemism for something,
Oh.
apparently.
Like,
I don't have one currently.
Is it a
What's the
water slide
socially
made of
acceptable
dragons or
opinion
a
to have on dragon water slides?
See,
I don't like the mouse.
Okay.
Oh no, it's one of those things.
Oh,
Don't
no.
answer that.
Ever thought of taking up skateboarding?
Yes, but that was a long time ago, and I never did. I feel
Coyotes
like I'm
make
too
great
fragile to
skateboarders,
skateboard.
in case you didn't know.
What's that?
Coyotes actually can skateboard.
I do believe that, but not this one.
This one can.
Good. You're
Is that a challenge for you?
Find a niche. Fill a
fellow
niche.
kids moment?
Your
Yeah.
fellow kids moment.
Yeah. Do a kickflip.
If you were going to make a Kickstarter, what would it be?
I don't know, and that's why I haven't made one. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Good.
What would you have as Patreon rewards? I don't know. That's why I don't have a Patreon.
Maybe for a Patreon award, you'd have to actually have a conversation with someone.
Patreon rewards,
They
maybe
could actually-
Kickstarter.
Yeah. No, they'll message you on Telegram and they'll talk to you for like exactly 5.7 minutes.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Do I have to be there for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how you get the money.
Oh.
Jeez.
This sounds like something else.
Oh, yeah. That's something else with Coyotes.
Yeah, that's fine though.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dirty talk with Coyotes.
Dirty talk with Coyotes. They'll find your zippers.
Where are the zippers?
Oh, don't worry about where the zippers are.
You keep bringing them up.
Yeah. God. Give these people their nice stickers already.
Fine.
Fine. God. All right. Do you have any more questions? Is there anything you want to close with?
If there are no more questions, I just want to thank you so much for coming, and I really appreciate you sticking with me on this weird experiment, and I hope to continue to do this and make it better. Next time, I make no promises because I don't even know if there will be one. But anyway, thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your convention. Come and get a sticker, and I will catch y'all later.